All right. So I am having this meeting today. We got a lot of business owners that have a lot of questions on what to do. There's a lot of emergency loans out there for small businesses. They're not sure, they may know what to do. They may have questions. They have definitely a lot of questions in terms of like when they're getting the loans, how to qualify for loans. So um, I've been getting personally asked a lot of these questions, and as much as I know, I'm trying to help people. But what I thought might be more valuable is if I set up a call with an expert, somebody that has more experience dealing with these loans and helping businesses with different capital needs. And we actually were able to get Joe. Bohannon on the line here and to agree to do a call with us to see if we can help some businesses, right? So, so Joe, I know your background a little bit, but I would, you've been, in the financial services industry since 1992. You've been, working in consumer finance for financing small, equipment, RVs, campers, and and also doing commercial banking, mortgage. You've been a mortgage broker, business lender broker, fundraising for business expansion, merchant services, payroll. I mean, you're just all over the place, and you've also done a lot of SBA and commercial lending. So if you wouldn't mind, I wanted to kind of have you share your background and why we should listen to you.
Sounds good. I appreciate it, Alex. Well, part of the reason why I shared with you the different things that I've done throughout the industry is I wanted to always be a Swiss Army knife for financial services. I wanted to be able to help my clients walk through from start to finish, helping them grow their business, quite frankly, stay in business for a long time, even business expansion planning, business succession planning. I wanted to be a part of those conversations. So I pursued jobs and throughout my career that were going to give me the best opportunity to be able to talk professionally and openly with business owners in an effort to help them achieve their goals and help them achieve their objectives. However, just because you may not want to expand your business into multiple locations or through multiple footprints around the country, I'm still happy to work with a one location business that's family-owned business that wants to increase their customer base and bring in new customers as well. So I've spent a lot of time throughout the years working with business owners, all with the desire to help them grow and achieve their goals and accomplishments. And the best way I felt for me to do that was have a great deal of knowledge about every single aspect of what that looked like. And so I chose jobs and careers and certain things I still do. Certain things I started to do, I still do even to this day. And then I added other pieces to it as we went in an effort to, be as versatile as possible with business owners and helping them work their way through their hopes and dreams. So it's interesting. I also get bored very quickly. And so it was good to have multiple facets of the financial services industry that I could have, a great deal of conversations about.
Well, great. And right now you're with Heartland Business Capital, right?
Correct.
And right, and then you're basically working with companies of different sizes, anywhere from like 500 employees to, like you said, just a retail storefront. Sounds like.
Absolutely.
And you're just helping them with different capital needs. And so the biggest capital need, the biggest thing people are going through is really being out of business or trying to get back into business and figuring out the different emergency loans that are being made available right now. So there's some frequently asked questions and things that I think most people are asking, and if that's okay, I'm just going to kind of start getting into it. So the first thing I'm going to go into is what we're going to be covering, and I'll just tell everybody real quick, like if you're listening to this, we're going to be coming out with other like helpful videos like this. So please subscribe to our channel, and it really helps us out. We want to deliver more helpful content to business owners. Definitely hit the subscribe, and we appreciate it. So what we're going to be covering on this Zoom call, I would call it today, is who's eligible for the loans, what will the lenders be looking for, and how much can a business borrow, will the loans be forgiven. So we're talking about these SBA loans, right? So let me ask you this, Joe. What does the eligibility look like for these loans?
Well, so you got to put this into a couple of different categories. There's the traditional programs for SBA, and then there's these specialty programs that have been enacted in this last several weeks in an effort to offset the effects of the widespread pandemic of COVID-19. With these specialty programs, specifically the ones that we're going to be discussing today, for the payroll piece, it's looking for small to mid-sized businesses. We can work with someone who is a sole proprietor, all the way up to someone who is locations that have or companies that have 500 employees or more. One of the provisions for this loan or the specialty loan isn't that it has to be 500 employees total. It's 500 employees per location, up to 500 employees per location.
Yeah,
so
I heard them say that. Yeah, if they have like a franchise or something, they can break that up per location.
That's correct. And so you could essentially exceed the 500 employee limitation because you ultimately have more than one location with that many employees. Now, those would be fairly large businesses. We'd have to really kind of dig into those to make sure that we could be as efficient as possible in the loan process, but they are nonetheless eligible for those programs. So
okay. Well, what are you seeing right now? Because I'm seeing people applying and not hearing anything back. I'm seeing lenders say, hey, I know you apply, you're in our queue, we got your application, and like Wells Fargo did recently, they're saying go apply somewhere else too.
Right.
Like they're just like, hey, just don't count on us, right? You know what I mean? So
Right.
that's kind of like what is kind of the tricky part about this is like it's a first come first serve, and what loan should I get? I don't even know what loan to get. It seems like your businesses with payroll are leaning towards a paycheck protection program, and then there's the so without getting into like all the different programs, like what's going on? Like what I don't it's just so weird.
Right. Well, I don't know if it's weird as much as it's uncharted territory.
Yeah.
Right. There's an aspect of this where this program was put together in very short order. Right. I mean, I'll give you an example. I don't know how much foot traffic you see on a daily basis through your business, but imagine if that increased 20 times, 25 times, basically overnight. It would be very daunting task for you as a business owner to not only manage all of the people that are now suddenly standing in front of you, but more importantly also manage the customer service aspect of what needs to be done in an effort to help get everybody through as quickly as possible. One of the reasons why working with me is beneficial versus going to a Wells Fargo is there's multiple levels of underwriting that need to go through Wells Fargo. Then it gets submitted over to SBA. We put together a package. We underwrite it, but we don't underwrite it with the same scrutiny that a Wells Fargo does. We're looking to get it into the hands of the SBA as quickly as possible. We're looking to get an express answer. We look to get you an answer, a quick answer with a quick set of documentation within a few days. That helps kind of let you know in the industry we have an expression, a fast no, right? And so it helps you kind of figure out very quickly whether or not you're even eligible for this to continue to pursue it. Because obviously the worst thing that could happen would be you filled in as a business owner, you filled in a business application and put together all these documentation, which there's going to be a significant amount just to get down to the end, just to find out that you weren't an eligible business in the first place. So
yeah, well, actually I have a question on that because the guidelines are so broad, it almost seems like everybody is eligible. That's what it's kind of that's maybe the thing that's not very clear on especially the paycheck protection. Like, they maybe you can go into that, like you're saying,
Right.
to find out if you are eligible. Like, how is that even? I mean, it seems so broad, you know.
Right. So it's designed. Part of the reason why some of the guidelines that have been put out, they've been put out in an effort to encourage people to apply, regardless. Right. And I think that is a great way
Interesting.
to do it, because ultimately, you miss every shot that you don't take. And so we would rather have you apply and then understand that, oh, this doesn't work for you at this particular time. But that doesn't mean it's not going to work for you forever. And so there's a part of it where, like I've been telling my clients, I tell all my clients, apply. I mean, I've got a guy that's, he's got 2 employees. He's a barbershop, him and somebody else. Said, but if $10,000 is going to help you keep your business open, why not go for it? If $5,000 is going to help you keep your business open, why not go for it? So
Got it.
my thought process behind it is, put together the documentation that you need to put together for the quick answer versus, waiting or only doing the basics and then sending it in to a larger lender who's just going to kind of put you in a queue. And then by the time it kind of gets to your point, well, now you're, being requested to bring in more documentation that you could have brought in kind of from the start. And so, in addition to everything that we've done, we've created a kind of a list of what they're going to look for. I typically collect that list of documentation up front. And then once we've got a determination or an approval that that's something that you can go for, as well as a range of what the loan amount may look like, well, then that makes life a little easier, a lot less stressful for a business owner, because now they haven't spent all day looking for documentation, but they've given enough to be able to make an intelligent decision for the lender.
Got it. Okay, let's go into the next question.
Sure.
So, what will the lenders be looking for? That's a good question.
Well, in each program, that is a great question. And each program is designed for a specific purpose. The one that we're dealing with here today is the payroll protection plan. It's literally designed to maintain your number of employees that you've had prior to a certain date, February 15, 2020, or even increase your full-time, part-time employee count in any shape or form that you can. What it's designed to is to keep people working. It's designed to help figure out ways that, even though you may be quarantined, is there a way to keep your online presence going, which can be done remotely? Is there a way to do in terms of certain restaurants where you could do to-go orders or curbside pickup, things like that? Those are all things designed to keep your business going, even if it isn't going at maximum capacity. Those are all things that are determined with this loan that lenders are going to be looking for in an effort to issue the funds that you need to get us past this sticking point. And ideally, they don't want you to obviously sacrifice your health, but at the same time, they also want to make sure that the loans are being administered properly, and it's doing what it's designed to do, which is keep businesses open even at 50 or 60% of what their typical capacity is.
Okay, got it. And then I mean, I've heard that there's I've seen there's different types of loans. How many of these relief loans do you think are there right now?
Well,
Or
there's
types?
a bunch, but I like to put them into categories, right?
Okay.
So there's this payroll protection program. There's a debt consolidation piece. So if you have some high interest rate debt, there's a debt consolidation piece, which also has a working capital component to it. Again, designed to keep businesses open and keep them, through this rough patch, keep them going forward.
Does that mean they're going to consolidate all of their business debt, or do they have limitations on the debt consolidation?
Well, you can consolidate all of your business debt.
Oh wow! I mean that's that's pretty helpful if the business can do that. And sorry, go ahead and continue. You're talking about the other different options.
Right. So there's obviously a commercial acquisition piece that's there. There's starting to be some some changes to typical underwriting guidelines, make things a little easier for acquisitions to happen. So there's a multitude of loans that are out there that are designed to um, continue to help business owners not only stay in business, but when you come out on the other side of this, you're ready to do well. You're prepared to do well. And so
Are you talking
that's
about the emergency relief loans or general loans?
no, I'm talking about, so in all of these emergency reliefs, there's different categories,
Okay, got it.
and they're all designed to help business owners survive this kind of short-term piece. The traditional SBA loans, those are all still intact. You
Okay,
still, yeah, you
right.
still do your acquisition. You still can combine working capital. You still can do these various things to acquire a business at this point.
Do you have something that's like like if a business owner like just wanted to see a snapshot of all the different available like relief loans out there, where would you recommend they review that information?
You can go specifically to the Small Business Administration website. There are multiple pages there.
SBA SBA.gov. That's actually a very well done website. It's very easy to understand. So yeah,
Yes,
I agree with you.
yes, and they've done it to a point where they keep it simple. They don't,
Yeah.
they don't really get into the weeds on a lot of things. They keep it simple in terms of what's eligible, what they're doing, what they're not doing, and
Okay.
really good.
And then keep it up to date. And
Absolutely.
yeah, my struggle though with going on the website is like, this is very helpful. I feel like I understand these loans and everything, but then it's like, now what? Where do I go? My, like for example, if we went to my credit union, they're not doing it. They like send an email saying, hey, sorry, we're not participating. So where should somebody go? Like, maybe you're saying that you're offering these services. Are you I mean, are you bound to any particular state or anything like that, or you probably can work anywhere in the U.S., right?
Exactly. SBA is a federal program. I can work in any state in the country. Obviously, I'm here in Northern California, but we're not restricted by any state or territorial or geographical restrictions. We can take in applications from pretty much anywhere around the country, and we do take in applications pretty much around the country, and we still push those loans through and still get things done regardless of the location of the business.
Okay, and then do you typically handle the applications as they come in, or do you have a team, or how does it work usually when you're working with businesses?
Well, I typically handle them myself because I want to be able to speak to borrowers and make sure that they're putting together the right documentation.
Okay.
And quite frankly, I just don't trust anybody else to do it other than myself. And so I spend the time talking to borrowers and making sure that we have the conversations that we need to have to prepare them to properly prepare for going through this process.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Let's see. We got the next one. So how much can a business borrow? I've heard a lot of different things on that, but
Right. So there's guidelines and then there's the rules, right?
mhm.
So the way this is presently working is that the kind of rule of thumb is 2.5 times the borrower's average monthly payroll costs. Okay.
And that's
Um,
for the Paycheck Protection
correct.
Program. Okay.
Correct. And that's designed to protect your number of employees as well as expand your number of employees. And so they'll take basically a snapshot of where you were again prior to February 15, 2020, and then they'll adjust that number accordingly if you've already lost some employees or if you're looking to expand. Adjust again that number accordingly. And so those eligibilities also play into something that we'll get into a little later, which is whether or not this loan becomes a grant or maintains itself as a loan. So we spend time making sure we talking to business owners, make sure they're following the rules, because the only thing better than a loan at 3.5% is a grant.
Yeah.
at 0%, right?
Yeah.
And so
Totally.
we will spend the time, kind of going through, making sure that the guidelines are understood, making sure that the business owner knows exactly what he or she are getting involved in, so that way they have the best options and the best thought process for making sure it's executed properly. So again, the goal is when people come out on the other side of this whole pandemic, they're as strong, if not stronger, than they were prior to it happening.
Got it. And um, what are you telling your borrowers? Because I mean, I have some customers that are asking me, hey, can I apply for paycheck protection? And there's a streamline loan, loan for 10,000 that they've been hearing about. They apply for that, and then this, and then they want the debt consolidation as well. Is right now it's just like basically just see what you can get on the palette of all these different loans, or is it just restricting you to one, or what are you advising?
Well, so when I talk to my clients, and again, because some of these programs are really new, there's always constantly some changes to them. Just to give you an example, up through last week, you could only apply for one at a time. You can only apply for payroll protection, or you had to choose debt consolidation, or you had to choose between working capital, right? Well, now kind of one application fits all. The goal here is to,
Oh,
as of last week, Thursday,
so one application, and then you can get an array of different options.
that's exactly right. And, and,
Interesting.
and, and throughout the different programs, right? And
Oh,
so
got it. Okay. But that's not working. That's not if you're going to a big institution, right? Because it's just, paycheck protection. Are you saying if we were to, if say we submit an application with you, you can kind of apply us for all those different
that's
options?
correct. That's exactly what I'm saying. And so the goal here is to put you in a position where, whether you have payroll protection or debt consolidation, working capital that's going to, again, expand your business. We're looking to, push through applications for all of those. Use the same application to push through that application for eligibility for all of those programs, not just one of the many. And so I thought that was one of the great changes that were made, that needed to be made, because there's so many business owners with so many things happening that it didn't make sense to limit their options if this money was truly designed to help prop up the small and mid-sized business owner. And so I thought that was a great change that's different from traditional SBA financing, where you would apply and kind of do one loan and you had to kind of choose one, and then you were you had to find other options for the other aspects of the money that's there involved. And so to have the ability to kind of have one application that takes care of all of those possibilities, I thought was a great addition for the administration to put out to business owners across the country.
Wonderful. And guys, I actually created a YouTube video on how to apply for the streamline advance of the $10,000 just to get into line. So if you guys want to, because I think the $10,000 is basically just to hold you over while you're working on these other loans, and that can work as a grant as well, depending on what you spend it on. But I'll put the YouTube link in the description so you guys can check that out. So let me go to the next question here, Joe. Here's the big one. Will the loan be forgiven?
So that
good
is
background music. Will the loan be forgiven?
Yeah,
Come on.
Put it to music, huh?
Yeah.
So what happens is the answer to that question is maybe, right?
Maybe.
So the goal of all of this is to follow the rules that are being set up to make this where it becomes a forgiven loan, becomes a grant instead of a loan. Again, let me repeat. To have a loan at 3.5% is pretty fantastic. It's pretty outstanding as far as borrowing money goes. But to make sure that people are following the rules of the guidelines that are being set forth, you want to make sure that you understand those. We walk through the process where You do the calculation. It's a payroll cost, and then it's multiplied times the average number of full-time equivalent employees, per month for 8 weeks, beginning at loan origination. And so there's a formula that's followed. And once you kind of follow that formula, as long as you meet those requirements, then the loan becomes a grant down the line. But again, like I said, I mean, that would be outstanding. That's a wonderful thing for a business owner. But to have to also kind of finish this and carry it through wouldn't be that bad as far as borrowing money goes.
Got it. So they're going to list out like the basic things, obviously like payroll costs, interest on mortgage obligation, rent or lease agreement. Like they've listed out different things that you can use it for.
Correct.
But at some, I don't know if this is right, but is it possible that part of it could be forgiven and the rest could be a loan? If you use part, like if or do you have to qualify for the whole loan has to be used properly, or it's all it's all uneligible for forgiveness, or do you know anything about that?
Right. So there is so again, it's formula driven, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you are, the good news, it's not all or nothing, right?
Sure.
It can be, you can have a part where you are forgiving, all of the loan. There's a part where you can forgive a partial part of the loan. It all runs through a formula that's calculated based on when you take out the loan versus when it's time to allow that forgiveness period for the window to open. And so if you meet that criteria, I apologize, guys. If you meet,
it's getting busy there, Joe. People need their loans, man.
Yes, sir. and that's exactly what this is. So
yeah,
and when you have these kinds of situations where you can run through the formula and make sure that you kind of follow those guidelines. Even if a portion of the loan is forgiven, that's actually again a great thing that happens with this program. That again is during unprecedented times. You have to do some things that are unprecedented to kind of get things back to our new normal. And so that's going to be something that's going to be that's one of the guidelines that's part of this program.
Okay, thanks. And then also, just on a side note, because I think everybody's in a different situation. We have like Uber drivers and independent contractors, all types that are struggling right now, and they're wondering, hey, do I get a small business loan, or how does that work? And right off the bat, some of the things I've been telling them, and hopefully this is correct, is I'm saying I know that unemployment has opened up to the self-employed, and they can actually start earning up to $600 a week, depending on what they qualify for. But I have self-employed people apply for the $10,000 immediate like funds that are supposed to, the emergency funds, and then the self-employed self-employed unemployment option, which is just basically applying for the just normal unemployment, but now they're going to have a box in there that allows you to to select part, you're self-employed, and you should be able to qualify.
Correct.
And that's what you're hearing too, right? I mean, you've heard that. Okay. And then based off the size of the business, that might just be enough, right? If they don't have they don't have a lot of employees, they don't have whatever, that hopefully will be. I mean, I don't know if it's really enough, honestly, unemployment, but it's hopefully enough to get you through, however long the stay-at-home order is going to be. So, any let's see if I had any last Q&A questions for you. So we went into I think a lot of people understand this is first come, first serve. I think there's a lot of anxiety that's building up because of that, because it's like kind of like where's my application at? Where's going on? Is the money ran out? What's going on? I just got an alert that they're not accepting applications anymore. From what I know, that they're actually working to release even more funds right now. So I guess the point, I mean, what you've been preaching or what you've been telling me is get your application in, just get in. And here's the anxiety part. I put my application in, but now they're telling me who said they were full. Some I think a couple institutions said they're full. They're not taking any more, and you
Right.
know what I mean. And so where do you suggest people? I mean, they can go to you, but if they have an existing banking relationship, they've and that's not working for them. What are you suggesting these guys do?
Well, I think they should contact you and I, right? I think they should give themselves as many opportunities as possible to pursue these funds and these emergency programs to, do what it takes to keep their business going. Again, like I said earlier, you miss every shot that you don't take. And
Mm-hmm.
so, at this point, there's nothing to lose. There's no cost or obligation to the application process. The goal here is to try to obviously, push these things through as quickly as possible. Um, you know, Feel free to apply at multiple locations. If you have institutions that are saying they're not accepting any more applications, I don't think that's I don't think that's right, especially for a large bank and things like that. I think that they should be putting forth as much effort to help push this through as we
Yeah.
did to bail them out in the last time we had a correction of sorts here in the late 2008, 2009, 2010 area, and so that's my own personal opinion, and I just think that when it comes down to this, we should be utilizing these programs to help as many Americans as possible, as many business owners as possible, to continue to provide for their families, provide for themselves, provide a service for the communities. That's we're the greatest country in the world, and we should utilize these resources to make sure that the small and mid-sized business owners, which is the backbone of our economy, to continue to do the things that make them strong. And so we will be continuing to take applications. We will be submitting as long as the program's available, as long as there's money available. We will be submitting these programs from $10,000 emergency funds to payroll protection programs to working capital to business expansion to debt consolidation.
Well, Joe, I want to thank you for your time. I know it's really hard to carve out some time right now. It's like this extremely busy for you guys right now. So I really you appreciate you taking time out of your day to help other business owners out there. And guys, if you're listening, watching this, please share this information. We're trying to help as many business owners as possible. And if you wouldn't mind actually leaving a comment in this video somewhere down there, leaving a comment, let us know if you have any questions. I'll be personally responding to all the comments, so I want to help as many people as possible. And don't forget, you can subscribe. And for more information, to reach out to Joe, we're going to provide his website. I think you have a website that can go to, right, Joe?
Correct.
Yeah, so we're going to provide that in the description. And then also, that we're, I run an insurance agency. We're helping businesses save money on their insurance and get the best possible insurance. So you can reach out to our team as well if you ever need help. But most importantly, we're here to support you guys through this rough time. Okay. So have a good one. And just remember one thing, guys, this ain't nothing. We got this. We got this. We're all into this together. So, there we go.